There are 5 generations in the workplace today, first time that's ever happened. But since we're living longer, we're working longer, it's very feasible in the very near future that we could be working with 6, 7, 8, God forbid, 9 different generations in the workplace. So the tension that you and I experience working across generations, communicating across generations, leading across generations is only going to intensify moving forward.
Today, not only are you competing with your competitors to attract the next generation top talent, but you're actually competing against millennials' own desire, ability, and resources to be an entrepreneur.
71% of millennials are disengaged at work, the most of any generation. And today I'm going to give you a specific strategy on how to combat the millennial engagement epidemic. My message today is to use millennials as an example, as the behavior that we can look at to understand what business needs to look like in the future. So my goal here is to share all these things, dig in deep with the millennials so you can run your organizations, lead and communicate like it's the 21st century. This is the first year that millennials make up a majority of the workforce. So they now outnumber boomers and Gen X in the workplace. And you'll notice that Generation Z, which is the youngest generation, they are now inching into the workplace, mostly in the form of internships. The emerging generation, whether that be millennials or Generation Z, they've coached their parents on perhaps how to use Facebook, how to use a smartphone, maybe how to use a computer. And so really, if you think about it, it's one of the first times ever that an emerging generation has skills and knowledge that they can transfer up. That really hasn't happened at any other time in history. So truly, it's a fundamental shift.
Ryan tapped into a lot of the things that I felt that, I was. And in a way, and in a light, and in a perspective that I felt that I can identify with, and that I was just really glad that the crowd itself can really understand the value and what it means to be a millennial and what we can offer to the workplace and then even the communities around us.
Millennials approach differently how they learn, work, socialize, communicate, and play due to technology. It's fundamentally shaped how they approach the world. 58% of millennials expect to leave their job in 3 years or less. Oftentimes, I don't think it's a lack of work ethic or it's that they're lazy. I think it's because they're underutilized. So for a generation that grew up gaming, they've been immersed in a constant feedback loop. They now pull that into the workplace where they're looking for more constant and real-time feedback. And this is a generation that understands that nothing significant can happen individually. It takes a team. It takes a diverse team.
Millennials and Generation Z use Snapchat on a daily basis to communicate. So do you think when they step into the workplace that they're going to be satisfied and productive using email? No. They're going to need more innovative tools.
So as leaders, here's the bottom line. We need to provide clear, results-driven direction to engage millennials. Millennials are the first generation that don't consider parents or teachers the authority, but rather they consider the internet the authority, and thus they think and approach problems differently. Reverse mentoring creates opportunities for millennials to develop the communication skills they so desperately need. So organizations that can bring all the generations to the table and leverage their unique strengths are the ones that'll thrive in the 21st century. In fact, 30% of 21 to 32-year-olds have already achieved a management position. Millennials' high-tech and their hyper-connected upbringing have made them disruption-prone leaders. And I promise you, millennials are not trying to aggravate you on purpose. I promise. Their high-tech, their hyper-connected upbringing has just created a new breed of human, a new breed of consumer, a new breed of employee, a new breed of leaders.
I think Ryan was incredibly engaging, and then the graphics and other illustrations and stories that he used were really helpful.
How is technology changing your expectation as a consumer? And how is it going to start changing the expectation of your employees? How is it going to start changing the expectations of your customers? So yes, millennials, yes, Generation Z are all demanding change, but bigger picture is that the exponential times that you and I live in are forcing us to change. If we ignore it, if we rest on what's always been in the status quo, we will be passed at the speed of Uber.
Ryan's presentation was very insightful and very accurate, so I enjoyed it very much.
How will millennials change your world? How will they change your organization? How will they change your industry? And are you ready? Well, don't panic. My name is Ryan. I'm your friend. We're going to figure this out together.